morning everyone. Today, through this video, we are here to witness the proceedings of the Parliament. Today, we'll have a mock Parliament session to incite you about the procedure and the proceedings of the Parliament. Generally, we do not read much about the Parliament in newspapers until there is a clash between the ruling party and the opposition members or when there is a budget session. But in fact, the Parliament is the temple of democracy. The Constitution of India that came into effect on 26 January 1950 provides for a bicameral legislature consisting of a president and two of the houses known as the Council of States or the Rajya Sabha and the House of People, the Lok Sabha. The Rajya Sabha is known as the upper house and the Lok Sabha the lower house. The Rajya Sabha consists of not more than 250 members, including 12 members nominated by the President, and the Lok Sabha consists of representatives elected directly by the people, and the maximum number of seats in the Lok Sabha as stated by the Constitution is 552. Following the first general elections held in India after independence in 1952, the Lok Sabha met for the first time on 13th May 1952. Now, I'd like to call upon Arijit to brief you about the working of the Parliament.
Thank you, Swati. Good morning, everyone. Today, I will be giving you a gist on the working of the Parliament, the two houses of the Parliament, their functions, and a little something about the presiding officers of the Parliament. The main function of the Parliament is to make laws. Every bill that is passed by the Parliament needs to be signed by the President before it becomes a law. The subject over which the Parliament can make laws are defense, foreign affairs, banking, currency and coinage, custom duties, income tax, etc. Speaking about the two houses, the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. The Lok Sabha holds supremacy over the Rajya Sabha in terms of administrative, legislative, judicial and financial matters. The Rajya Sabha has a very special role in enabling the Parliament to legislate upon state subjects if it is necessary in the national interest. Now, let's talk about the presiding officers of the Parliament. Each house of the Parliament has its own set of presiding officers. In Lok Sabha, the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker are appointed amongst the members, while in Rajya Sabha, the Vice President of India is the ex officio chairman. The main function of the Parliament is to make laws, to select the government, to inform, control and guide the government. Executive consists of President, Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. The President is responsible for the administration in the country. President appoints the Prime Minister, which is usually the majority party leader in the Lok Sabha. The Council of Ministers is appointed by the Prime Minister. Now, let us discuss about the procedure of lawmaking. A bill is a proposed legislation under consideration by the legislature. A bill does not become a law until it is passed by the legislature and approved by the executive. A bill is introduced in the legislature where it is discussed, debated and voted upon. A bill that is passed by both the houses of the Parliament is sent to the Speaker. The Speaker signs it and forwards it to the President for his assent. Once after the President's assent, the bill becomes a law. Once it becomes a law, it gets entered into the statute book and published in the Gazette.
Each house of the Parliament consists of two representatives, one of the ruling party and one of the opposition party. The opposition's main role is to question the government of the day and hold them accountable to the public. This also helps to fix the mistakes of the ruling party. The opposition is equally responsible in upholding the best interest of the people of the country. They have to ensure that the government does not take any steps which might have negative effects on the people of the country. The role of the opposition in legislature is basically to check the excesses of the ruling party or the dominant party and not to be totally antagonistic.
The parliament meets thrice every year. First, in the budget session, that is from February to May. Second, in the monsoon session, that is from July to August. And third, in the winter session, that is from November to December. Now, in these sessions, there are 4 types of questions asked in the questionnaire. The start questions, the unstart questions, the short notice questions, and lastly, the private questions. The Speaker of the Lok Sabha is the presiding officer of the Lok Sabha, the lower house of the Parliament of India. The Speaker is generally elected in the first meeting of the Lok Sabha following the general elections. Serving for a term of 5 years, the Speaker is chosen from the sitting members of the Lok Sabha and is by convention a member of the ruling party or alliance. He or she conducts the business in the House and decides whether a bill is a money bill or not. The Speaker maintains the discipline and decorum in the House and can punish any member for unruly behavior by suspending him or her. The Speaker decides on the agenda to be taken up for discussion during the meeting. Further, all the speeches and the comments made by the members of the House are addressed to the Speaker. The Speaker is answerable to the House and symbolizes the dignity of the House. So now, let's move on to the next level, that is the working of a session of the Parliament. So here we go. Thank you. Honorable Pradhan Mantri Ji, Leader of the Opposition and other members of the Sabha. I am pleased to address the Sabha after the election of the 17th Lok Sabha. In this year, commemorating the 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, I extend my heartiest congratulations to all the newly elected members of the Sabha. The Parliament is now in session. Today, we are going to introduce an important bill named Anglicizing the School Campus. So now, I'd like to first invite our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Arijit Mukherjee, to address the Sabha.
Honorable Speaker, leaders of the opposition, and all the members in this Parliament. We are glad to be here in this current assembly session because it is the last assembly session of our governance in this year. I am very proud and privileged to address this Sabha because we are going to bring all the policies and programs to a great success in our governance. I want to thank the opposition party for all their support and criticisms. And definitely, we are going to bring some remarkable changes in the educational system of our school. Once again, I would like to thank all the members present in this Parliament.
Now, I call on respected Education Minister, Mr. Ayushman Behra, to introduce the bill that is Anglicizing the school campus.
Honorable Speaker Madam and all the respected members of the Parliament, I, Ayushman Behra, the Minister of Education of the Parliament, is going to present a landmark bill titled Anglicizing the School Campus. According to this bill, English speaking in the school campus should be made compulsory. There are certain advantages of passing this bill in this Sabha. Firstly, English is an international language and without question, the most widely spoken. English is a far more promising and competitive language. It will help students to become more knowledgeable, skillful and confident. The biggest advantage of studying English is that your career prospects and job opportunities may vastly increase. When seeking for job opportunities, proficiency in English can put you at a distinct advantage. People who can speak English fluently are sought after by different companies, even international companies. This is what all the bill suggests. Any student found disobeying this law would be punished. Firstly, he or she would be charged a fine of 50 rupees and secondly, his or her parents would be called. This is what all the bill suggests. I hope that the opposition would not have any objections and would support the bill with full majority.
I now call on the Leader of Opposition, Mr. Roshan Yadav, to speak on the bill.
Honorable Speaker, I, Roshan Yadav, the leader of the opposition party, wants to put forward the notion that we strongly oppose this bill proposed by the ruling party. We had already tried to implement the said bill when we were the ruling party and to make English speaking compulsory inside the school campus. But unfortunately, there was no change at all in the behavior of the students. They all continue to speak in Hindi language and other vernacular languages. They had no effect of the bill on them. Moreover, the academically weaker students who did not know and understand English language were mentally tortured and had to face a lot of stress. English is a foreign language, so we must not give much importance to it. Rather, we should give importance to our Indian languages. It is because of bills of this kind that so many students are forgetting their mother tongue, and many students are there who do not even know the meaning of so many words in their own mother tongue. So, I would also like to add, if a student has to speak in English compulsorily in the school, then the academically weaker students who are unable to speak it properly will lose their self-confidence. Hence, the students who are good in English will humiliate and tease the weaker students, which will be unfair to them. So, I think that ruling party should not pass this bill and hope that ruling party understands our point of view.
I now call on the member of the ruling party, Ms. Rishika Vats, to answer the opposition.
Honorable Speaker, I would like to say that if this bill is passed, it will be extremely helpful for the students of our school to face entrance examination conducted at the All India level. English will increase their vocabulary and reading skills along with their knowledge and awareness about various subjects. It will also help the students to focus on the concept rather than rote learning. Moreover, it is a well-known fact. English is a global language and is spoken in around 70 different countries. There are thousands of different schools and universities around the world that offer programs in English. Students who are proficient in English can have an access to some of the best schools of the world like Harvard, Stanford, Oxford or Cambridge, since it provides an incredible edge. It's expected that around 2 billion people around the world will learn English over the next decade.
I now call on the member of the opposition party, Mr. Surju Chaudhary, to raise his point.
Honorable Speaker Madam, the bill raised by the Ministry of Education states that if you pass the bill, it will be helpful for the students to face IIT examination and other examinations of such kind. But I think the ruling party is forgetting that school examination and board examination for our students of class 9, 10, 11 and 12 should be our top priority. I don't think this will create any severe problem since the questions that are asked are in both Hindi and English. So the students who are not good in English can write the answers in Hindi in their own words. Moreover, our Ministry of Education said that if more number of students know English, then they are more likely to go and settle in foreign lands and pursue their higher education and jobs there. But if lesser number of students know English, then they are more likely to stay in this country only. This will stop the brain drain from our country, and the brilliant and intellectual minds will stay and help in the development and progress in our country.
Now, I would like to invite the member of the ruling party, Ms. Simona Seth, to answer the opposition.
Honorable Speaker, I want to state that we have presented the bill before the Sabha after a lot of retrospection on this issue and not hastily at all. I want to put forward my opinion. Just as Rome was not built in a day, similarly, a strong hold and fluency over the English language cannot be achieved overnight. So, with passage of time, with more experience, exposure and trials, they would flourish and gain mastery over the English language. With the world becoming so much closer and more connected, opportunities to travel and explore different parts of the world are more available. It is said that 1 out of 5 people can speak or at least understands English. When a student chooses to study English, his or her education is an investment. And it is incredibly important that he or she derives exceptional value for his or her money.
I now call on the member of the opposition, Muhammad Salsabil Ansari, to answer the ruling party.
Honorable Speaker Madam and all the ministers present here. I want to oppose the points of the ruling party regarding anglicizing the school education and school campus. Firstly, because its implementation in the school is not possible. It's impossible for the students to speak English all the time, and many of them may not cooperate with us. It will be time consuming and its implementation may adversely affect the academics of the students. Earlier also, it was decided to make it compulsory to speak English in the school, but because of its weak implementation, it was not successful. Now, the same bill is presented with some modification. So how the ruling party can assure that the same problem may not occur this time? Moreover, equal status is given to every language in our country, and that's why we are not having any national language and every language is official here. So, if we are concentrating in one language, that too is imposed on us by the Britishers and ignoring all our cultural languages, then our culture and diversity is in grave danger. That's why I have an opposition to this bill. Thank you.
Now, I'd like to invite the member of the ruling party, Ms. Shruti Prasad, to raise her point.
Honorable Speaker, I completely disagree with the opposition party members. It is very true that we must have immense respect for our mother language, but it's a universal fact that there are 7 continents in the world and almost 70 countries have English as their official language. So, to overcome this rat race in today's competitive world, one must be fluent in the English language. Having a strong hold over the English language is an extra quality and would definitely make a difference. Moreover, in terms of academia, English is the language most commonly spoken by academics worldwide. A vast majority of important researches are published and composed in the English language. Scholars and academics who have the knowledge of English language can be globally more facilitated by their mastery of English language.
Now, I'd like to invite the member of the opposition party, Ms. Sinki Yadav, to tell her opinion on this.
Honorable Speaker Madam, I would like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. I think that this bill of making English language compulsory in the school is very harmful in the long run because it will create a feeling of superiority and inferiority amongst the students. I would like to elaborate on this point. Consider that a boy who came from a rural area and he is from a very poor family. He takes admission in such a school where English speaking is compulsory, and if anyone speaks in any other language except English will be charged a heavy fine. Then that particular boy will be frequently charged with fine, which will be a great injustice to him. Moreover, if all the students are forced to speak only in English, they will not be able to speak their mind, express their doubt, and share their opinion. This would adversely affect their potential and ability, and they would be lagging behind in their studies. That is why I vehemently oppose the bill.
I now call on the member of the ruling party, Ms. Jia Luharuka, to speak on the bill further.
Honorable Speaker, I do not agree to this point and would like to state that failures are the pillars of success. With gradual practice and implementation, it would surely curb the problem of not understanding the English language or even speaking the language. Moreover, due to the processes of internationalization and globalization, a large number of degree courses, particularly at the master's level, are being taught through the medium of English. When it comes to business and matters of trade, the English language tends to be incredibly important. It works as a lingua franca. If English is known to today's students, they would be able to conduct business transactions, write and respond to documents such as emails, memos, articles and reports, and possibly pursue a career in business. Thank you.
Now, I request the member of opposition, Mr. Karthik Tulsayan, to raise his point.
Honorable Speaker, I would like to say that if students would start speaking in English, then there is a huge possibility that they might speak in this foreign language in their homes also. As we all know that most of our grandparents are illiterate or maybe are not well versed with the English language. If the so-called modern grandchildren converse with them in the English language, then it will create a deep generation gap between them, and hence no attachment between the grandparents and grandchildren will take place. Secondly, we all are saying that English is a global language and we all need it for communication. Where it is written that only English can be used for communication. So, if in case we read English also, we can easily make use of technology. We can use Google Translator to translate the language as and when required to communicate with each other. So I think this bill should not be implemented.
I now call on the member of the ruling party, Mr. Vikrant Sharma, to speak on this.
Honorable Speaker Madam, as a result of having studied English, traveling and interacting with people of different nationalities can become easier and more enjoyable. It is a great way of learning about the world, widening your horizon and increasing your social development as you are able to interact with more people. Technology is vital and significant in the day and age in which we live. English is very often the language used for many software programs, and for those that are technologically minded and ambitious, the study of English can provide them with useful benefits and knowledge. Moreover, we have decided that we are not going to directly implement this bill. It would be done initially for a period of 3 months. Then, after analyzing pros and cons, it would be full-fledged implementation. Thank you.
Now, I'd like to invite the member of opposition, Ms. Soumya Kumari, to speak on the bill further.
Honorable Speaker Madam, I want to again emphasize that by speaking English language, our school will slowly divert into Western culture, their style and their ideas. In past, our great freedom fighters have shown their power by removing the British and their culture from our country. But by implementing this bill, we will give a rise to their culture. Our students will slowly forget the rich heritage, culture and tradition of our country. In earlier period also, Britishers came to India for transforming India into slave country of the Britishers. They opted many methods but failed. But today, if we will implement this law, we will succeed their plan by adopting the British culture and their language. So, this bill should not be implemented.
All the members, please be seated. Any member who would like to speak further on the bill? No? Okay. Now the members of the parliament, a vote on the bill is going to be taken. So the members, those who agree to the bill, say A. Please put down your hands. Now the members, those who disagree to the bill, say A. Thank you. Put down your hands. So now it is done. The number of votes in the favor of the bill is 25 and the number of the votes against the bill is 12. So the bill named Anglicizing the School Campus is passed with 2/3 majority. Therefore, the bill will be implemented from the next academic session 2021 to 22. Thank you all. The parliament is adjourned.
Gratitude makes sense of our past